As a general recommendation, I would like to see more and lengthy samples of researchers' original data, and also I would like to see a stronger trend towards making such original field recordings available to others. I think that we have the Turner recordings is really a stroke of luck. Apparently his widow didn't just want to throw them away, thank you, and made them part of Turner papers, which are Northwestern U. And apparently Northwestern U at some point decided they couldn't handle them professionally enough, so they were transferred to a professional archive, and there they survived to the present day. I think we might want to try to do this a little bit more systematically on the next time occasion. So what we have is, when we closely examine these sources, we're looking at previously unknown or underreported, underinvestigated patterns, and they show us phonological change. And once we discover and explore such phonological patterns, they become part of the picture, and I would say they're essential to understand the complex dynamics of the grammatical structure of varieties such as Gullah Geechee. More linguistically, Gullah Geechee continues to be phonologically distinct from English. The three patterns, I think, show that quite clearly. So we can conclude that Gullah Geechee is holding, the structure of Gullah Geechee is holding its ground phonologically and syntactically. Previously, we only had the morphosyntactic evidence. Now we also have some phonological evidence, and there's certainly the potential to look deeper into the phonology now. Individual patterns exhibit a complex web of patterns of convergence, maintenance, and most significantly also divergence in relation to English. And as the beginning of a social linguistic account, we can say that the speakers appear motivated not to conform. Instead, they appear motivated to keep distinguishing their speech from the minority language. Thank you very much.
We do have time for questions.
I have a couple questions about very interesting, and just haven't been on the islands last week. I can hear all this stuff again on the sea islands. One question about your thesis. I'm intrigued by this apparent evidence that there's more of it in Jones-Jackson than there is in Turner. And if I'm reading your charts correctly. And I'm wondering whether, if you control for the types, because the types that you're getting in Turner are pretty radical, some of the examples you gave. And I wondered if you control for the types, whether that remains true, or whether the kind of later samples have more of the conventional types like both and, spectrum and all that kind of stuff. I don't know if you know that up. And then
I didn't formally control for that. There are fewer tokens in Jones-Jackson, clearly so. So you don't get, dramatic things like pen, right. or as it is in the actual narrative, to depend upon this pen pot. And she talks about, just having enough money to buy a document. Yeah. You don't get that in Jones-Jackson. It's just not enough material there.
Okay. And then the nasal velarization, of course, which I love, is my native parent, Guyana. It's pretty clear in the Caribbean, at least in Guyana, that there is no diphthong, that the whole syllable, so am becomes Yes. And actually, one or two of your cases, upside down, I didn't hear that diphthong as much. This is features obviously interacting with number 4. And sometimes you at least have them all, but it would be interesting to kind of go back to look at the cases where you get not only the velarization, but the monophthongization, or at least a change to some monophthongal vowel, even though it may not be a part of the original diphthong. That makes me happy.
Yeah.
This is very picky, but that's why we're here.
Yes.
You don't want to come to Louisville, Kentucky, and tell people that exactly and pen and backing are items which are unique to in fact, two of the three exist even in my speech. I was going to say old codgers have other, but then I suddenly realized I'm one too.
Yeah, that's very interesting. That's potentially very significant. Yeah. That's very interesting. Thank you very much for sharing that.
So,
I have enjoyed the paper. I just want to point out something that I believe should be borne in mind when you approach the evolution of data from the point of view of convergence and divergence. The difficulties that I have faced personally is variation in how people pronounce things.
Yes.
We are focusing on that. Sometimes you find variation in the same speaker.
Yes.
But there is also variation across speakers. Now, when you don't have exactly the same population or populations that have resided on the same island, I think it becomes difficult to draw reliable diachronic conclusions.
Yes, I agree. And I happen to have an answer for that one. As Jones-Jackson did her fieldwork most prominently on Guatemala, which is underrepresented in the published narratives in Turner. We only, I think, have from Prince Smith, there's only 2 short texts in there. That with the original Turner corpus, that situation can now be rectified because you have about an hour and a half from Guatemala, which will give you a much better cross-section, so that you have a nice corpus from the 30s from Guatemala and the corpus from Jones-Jackson from the 70s from Guatemala. And we should, I agree with you, we should try to take the location variable out of it, look at people from the same age group, and of course by gender and so on and so forth. But that's now a little better possible than it was before with the collection of the recording.
that's about our time, folks. So thank you again.